Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, world. And today has come from talking about to one of my clients who describes some of her days and weeks as being really stressful, and she becomes quite distressed about things. She wakes up with a horrible pit of anxiety in her chest and in her stomach. And she talks about sort of being a nervous disposition. And I think it's really interesting for me, and this is why I thought I'd bring it to you guys, because it's almost part of her. And I know she won't mind me talking about this because I've already asked her, but it's almost become part of her identity. Or I can't go there, I get really anxious, or I can't do this because I'm of a nervous disposition. And she'll talk like this. This is part of her language. And we just sort of got to talking really about so many of these words that we use to describe actually thoughts, because that's what they are. They are self-perpetuating thoughts. Now, this is not being dismissive of the intensity that people experience these and the physical pain that people experience, let alone the physical churning of the stomach and feeling sick and, having disruption to their lives. I mean, this is massive. This is not something to be belittled. So please bear with me. I'm not belittling. I'm just trying to simplify it for our morning session. But we run our days. We absolutely run our days with these patterns, these thinking patterns, and our responses to them, and how we have learnt to respond to them, if that makes sense. And we've made sense in our own language and our own bodies about what we're experiencing. Now, we're even taught in schools with patterns, if you think about it. We're taught to do mathematics in rhythmical pattern like learning. So our multiplications is 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. We do our mobile phones often with patterns. So some of us will do five numbers at the beginning, and then we'll have the rest of the numbers afterwards, or they'll split 3, 3, that sort of thing. So if you think about it, even when we learnt to handwrite, and I only learnt this the other day through my daughter, who was speaking to a wonderful teacher about script writing and handwriting, and how children see small, small, tall, small, small, tall, small, small. And it's that sort of thing. And this is absolutely where we come. We learn poetry with rhythmical language. We look at quotes, and quotes often have something in them that's a pattern, even how they're set out. And there's often a picture behind that is an emotive picture. So you look at anything on television, these are all things that feed us. And after we've got that thought, we're actually right out there with a picture of what we're seeing. Now, I know, for instance, when I've learned some things, that certainly like mobile telephone numbers, I'll have a pattern in my mind. So I'll know when I've done 4, and then I'll know when I've done another 4, and then I'll know and this is what we do with the things that are coming up in our future. So whether it's today or later on today or this afternoon or this evening, we will already be putting some sort of pattern together about what we've experienced before and what we're about to experience again. I hope this is making sense. So when you get up this morning, or when you got up this morning, did you do your teeth before breakfast or after breakfast? Do you always do your teeth before breakfast, or do you always do your teeth after breakfast? And if you did your teeth the other way around, would you remember to do them, or would it feel awkward? And this is the habitual thing that we get into that makes it sometimes very easy to get through life, but other times not so easy. It's even down to, do you have breakfast before 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock? And you often hear people say, oh no, I won't, thank you. I have breakfast around about. And there's an absolute pattern to their day. So like I said, some of these patterns can be really helpful. And because we are quite lazy in our minds, anything that's familiar is great, because we don't have to challenge it then, even down to something really, really negative. So even when we have attached to, it sounds very odd, it's like when you've had a backache or something for a long time and it's gone, you suddenly think, oh, where did that go? Well, I didn't notice that going. And you start poking and prodding, going, does it still hurt? No. And it's bizarre how we do that. So when you think about things like, you lose weight, don't lose weight. You go bloody searching for things that you've lost, don't you? And this is not something we want to go looking for. What we want to do is we want to keep a level of anxiety that keeps and maintains our safety, but we want to be able to control it so we can use the power and the energy behind anxiety to potentially motivate us out of trouble, motivate us towards a desire and a goal, but we need it to stop interrupting our lives. So with my client, we've been talking about pattern interrupts, what I talk about pattern interrupts. And because we have this pattern, often people can describe how they've been thinking and how they've been feeling with the anxiety or the distress or the nerves or whatever they want to call it. And there's often a pattern to it. So what we want to do is a bit like if you think about a spinning wheel, we want to stick something in that spinning wheel just to stop the machine going, don't we? Just like that. And that's a pattern interrupt. So, and it is about practicing. It's absolutely about practicing, because no habit comes immediately. We have to practice these habits, including anxiety, including unhappiness. We're not actually born to be unhappy. We're actually born to be happy people, or happy things, happy beings, and thriving beings. So it's quite odd that we've gone down this road. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I know life chucks all sorts of crappy stuff at us. But like all habits, like I said, we need to really address this. So what we've done with my client is you need to really connect with this pattern interrupt, just like you do connecting with the anxiety or the distress or the unhappiness or the dark thoughts. It's about being, the more you're aware of it, obviously the more you can pattern interrupt. So it doesn't matter where on this continuum that you recognize this, because the more you practice it, the earlier you'll find it. But in actual fact, what it's about is it's about finding something that absolutely throws you off sideways. So really does jolt you. Now for her, and I find it much easier if it makes you smile. Now, what we've done with her, she said, when she starts finding herself with these thoughts, if she's sitting on the bus going to work, or even just walking down to the bus stop and she starts thinking about work and things like that, she now starts humming, "I Believe I Can Fly," to herself. Nobody else needs to know, but as soon as she hears it, as soon as she feels that she's going there, she notices her stomach first, and then she goes, "Oh," and then think, "What am I thinking about?" And she's way up there with her boss, and having these arguments out and what have you. So she starts singing "I Believe I Can Fly" until it comes to that point where she's actually got some sort of concept about what's going on and what she's actually thinking of. And then she literally says, "Okay, bird, let's take this on." Once she's calmed down enough, she's got enough capacity in her mind to jot down the first 3 priorities of what the first 3 seeds of thought that she's got going through. Like, I know I've got to see him. I know he's going to say this, and then he's going to do whatever, or I'm going to cry, something like that. And then she can deal with it. That comes on a bit later. But what I wanted to do is just bring that pattern interrupt, just to give you a bit of headspace to think, actually, hang on, am I searching for something wrong? Is there really something wrong? Or actually, is this just a thought, and how can I change it? And like I said, we've done those sorts of lives before, but if you're interested, I'm quite happy to do another live on the full process. But I hope that's useful. I hope if you know anybody who experiences anxiety and distress or anything and needs some self-coaching, and this is it, you need to be able to take this in your handbag, in your purse, in your pocket, whatever you carry around with you, you need it with you so that you can absolutely interrupt that pattern of thinking and give yourself some relief. Just turn the volume down on it. But share my video, please. Do let them know that I'm out here, and let me know if there's anything else you need, or if you got some value from this. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye bye for now.